from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello and welcome to the National News on Rupavahini. I'm coming to you live together with Dishan Virakon and Bulanjali Ananda, and these are the top stories which are making headlines for tonight. Securing 148 votes, Ranjit Siambalapitiya re-elects as Deputy Speaker. 11th Party Group alleges the opposition leader for fulfilling the needs of the government. A limit over the issuance of fuel for vehicles from today onward. Minister Kanchana says the fuel crisis will be resolved within 3 days. An Indian vessel with close to 40,000 metric tons of petrol arrives at the Colombo port. Agriculture Minister says accelerated measures to provide organic and chemical fertilizer and compensation for farmers. Chemical fertilizer relief reimposes. Essential services including railway, port and SLTB to provide uninterrupted services tomorrow, confirmed by the heads of the institutions. Many countries face crises due to the impact on global supply chains and surging energy prices.
Starting off with the top story for tonight, securing 148 votes, parliamentarian Ranjit Siambalapitiya was re-elected as the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament today. Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeywadana requested to nominate parliamentarians for the position of Deputy Speaker. Parliamentarian Nimal Siripal de Silva proposed parliamentarian Ranjit Siambalapitiya for the post. Parliamentarian Susil Premajayanthas seconded the nomination. Minister G.L. Peiris expressed the fullest support of the ruling party for the candidacy of MP Ranjit Siambalapitiya. MP Ranjit Bandhu Bandara proposed parliamentarian Imithias Baki Maka for the post. MP Lakshman Kiryalla seconded the nomination. Speaker Abeywadana said that a vote will take place as 2 nominations have been proposed for the post. Declaring the results, the Speaker said that MP Ranjit Siambalapitiya had received 148 votes, while MP Imithias Baki Maka receiving 65 votes. Accordingly, he declared that MP Siambalapitiya has been re-elected as the Deputy Speaker from the vote.
එනම් ඡන්දය ගණන් කිරීමට ආරම්භ කරන්න. ගරු රංජිත් සියඹලාපිටිය මන්ත්‍රීතුමා ඡන්ද 148යි. ගරු ඉම්තියාස් බාකිර් මාකර් මැතිතුමා ඉස්සද්ද වෙන මන්තුමා. ඉම්තියාස් බාකිර් මාකර් මැතිතුමා ඡන්ද 65යි. නරක් වූ ඡන්ද සංඛ්‍යාව 3යි. ඒ අනුව රංජිත් සියඹලාපිටිය මන්ත්‍රීතුමා නියෝජ්‍ය කතානායකවරයා වශයෙන් නියෝජ්‍ය වශයෙන් ඡන්දයෙන් තෝරාපත් කරන ලැබ මම සභාවට ප්‍රකාශ කරනු කැමැත්තෙමි.
Deputy Speaker Ranjit Siambalapitiya said that he resigned from the post as he was not willing to hold the position which was proposed and seconded from the ruling party. He pointed out that the opposition was in full agreement with the nomination until this morning. He said he wanted to show the strength of the opposition with this crucial vote. However, he said he regrets that the opposition failed to take the maximum opportunity from this appointment. He also said that this move from the opposition can be considered as a betrayal to the people who have taken the streets to protest at this crisis situation.
මගේ බලවත් කනගාටුව මම ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා. විපක්ෂයේ අවස්ථාවෙන් ප්‍රයෝජන නොගැනීම මේ රටේ මේ අර්බුදකාරී අවස්ථාවේ පාරට බැහැගෙන දුක් විඳින මිනිස්සුන්ගේ සටන පාවා දීමක් හැටියට මම දකින්නේ ගරු කතානායකතුමනි.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that they changed their decision after receiving an information that the ruling party was set to support MP Siambala Pittia's nomination. Therefore, he said that it is regrettable to point out that MP Siambala Pittia has now become a puppet of the ruling party. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that candidates from both the ruling party as well as the opposition had assumed the deputy speaker post in the past. He then reminded the opposition leader that the traditions of the parliament are not only limited for a single party. He further pointed out that within a democratic setup, those with the majority will be elected for the post despite the preferences of the others.
සිටිනවා නම් වැඩි දෙනාගේ කැමැත්ත හිමිවීම ජයග්‍රහණය වෙනවා. අපි කැමැති වුණත් නැති වුණත් පරාජයටපත් වෙනවා අඩු පිරිස බවට ඉන්න පිරිස. ඒ නිසා මේ මත අපි දරදඬුව දරන්නේ නැතුව අපේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී පාර්ලිමේන්තු ක්‍රමය ආරක්ෂා කරගෙන ජනතාවාද ඉල්ලා සිටින යම් යම් ප්‍රධාන වෙනස්කම් වලට අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමත් ජනාධිපතිතුමත් කර තිබෙන ප්‍රකාශයන් ඉදිරියට ගෙන යාමටත් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන බව යලිත් ශ්‍රීපත් කරනවා. ඉම්තියාස්ගේ තාත්තා
MP Ranil Wickremesinghe said that he was able to work together with MP Imtiaz Baki Maka's father, who was then Speaker of the Parliament. However, he said that MP Ranjit Siambala Pittia has been appointed as the Deputy Speaker and the parliamentarian had rendered positive services to the Parliament. Therefore, he requested all to work together as a collective. MP Shanakyan Rasamanikyam said that the Deputy Speaker election elaborates the drama currently taking place in the Parliament. He said that they had noted that MP Ranil Wickremesinghe was making attempts to reach out for the parliamentarians in support of MP Ranjit Siambala Pittia. However, he said that MP Wickremesinghe is in the opposition. He then said that SLFP and SLPP had both supported MP Siambala Pittia. He further added that there are only 65 parliamentarians in the opposition, while 148 parliamentarians represent the Rajapakshas. He then said that these parliamentarians would not vote for any no-confidence motion presented against the Rajapakshas. MP Nalin Bandara said that people are experiencing severe difficulties with their living standards and youth have already taken the streets. MP Harin Fernando requested to provide a date for the debate on the no-confidence motion. MP Muzambil inquired the opposition leader whether a SJB government will be formed following the no-confidence motion. He also inquired whether the main opposition is ready for an interim government.
Minister Kanchana Wijesekara says that the existing fuel shortage in the country will be resolved within a period of 3 days. Meanwhile, he said that the issuance of diesel for power plants to continue the power supply is the cause for the prevailing diesel shortage. The minister made these remarks in the parliament today while responding to a query request raised by the opposition leader. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa inquired whether Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has turned into a profit-earning agency following the recent price hikes. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that the government has taken measures to provide relief for the public from each litre of fuel. He further indicated that the corporation still incurs a loss from diesel and petrol from issuing fuel for consumers at lower rates for a lengthy period. The minister said that Sri Lanka is expected to receive 4 fuel vessels this month through the extended loan scheme of $200 million from IOC company. He also added that a request has been made to increase the loan facility up to $500 million. He said that organized groups are creating queues near filling stations even though the country has adequate quantities of petrol stocks. He pointed out that the prevailing situation over the scarcity of petrol can be resolved within 3 days. However, he said that the country is facing an issue over the diesel as a policy decision has been taken to allocate quantities of diesel for thermal power plants and not revise the power interruption period following the breakdown occurred at the Norochole power plant. Accordingly, he said that with the instructions of the president, the government decided to reach this decision. Also, he said that negotiations are underway to acquire the maximum power supply from hydropower plants at this crucial juncture. He added that the Norochole power plant maintenance work expected to complete by coming Sunday. Therefore, he emphasized the importance in maintaining the prevailing diesel stocks. The minister said that the next diesel ship is expected to arrive on the 11th and the government will be able to issue 4,000 metric tons of diesel to the market as they are only being able to issue 1,000 to 1,500 metric tons at present. He said that the situation can only be overcome through the inflow of foreign exchange and the uninterrupted operations of the industries in the country. He said that the country faced a massive loss following the temporary closure of the Sapugaskanda refinery. He said that due to this wrong policy decision, the government had to bear a massive expenditure in importing fuel. Therefore, he said that measures will be taken to reopen the Sapugaskanda refinery soon.
In the meantime, Minister Janaka Wakumbara says that a price formula will be introduced as a means to control the prices of fertilizers. Now, he made these remarks while speaking in the Parliament today. Minister Janaka Wakumbara said that measures have been taken to provide solid and liquid organic fertilizer for farmers during this Yala season. He said that as per the recommendations of the Director General of Agriculture, nitrogen and urea quantities required for organic fertilizer have to be provided for the farmers. Accordingly, the minister said that both the state fertilizer companies are currently taking measures to import the relevant quantities. He said that with the mediation of the President, the Indian government has agreed to provide 65,000 metric tons of urea. Accordingly, he added that the government expects to provide 25 kilograms of fertilizer per acre or provide urea free of charge. Now, an island-wide Hartal campaign is expected to be conducted tomorrow jointly by trade unions and the business community.
However, several major trade unions said today that they will not extend their cooperation for the campaign. Meanwhile, state institutions have confirmed that essential services including railway, port and Sri Lanka Transport Board will maintain an uninterrupted service tomorrow. Sri Lanka Podujana Educational Services Association has decided not to support the Hartal campaign scheduled to be held tomorrow. Accordingly, principals and teachers of the association will report for duty as usual tomorrow. A decision has been reached by the All Ceylon Interprovincial Students Transport Association not to support the Hartal campaign. Local Governance Employees Association has also decided not to support the scheduled Hartal. The trade unions related to railways have informed the management that the railway operations will resume uninterrupted tomorrow. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, Kingsley Ranawaka, said that the bus services will also resume uninterrupted tomorrow. However, Chairman of the Private Bus Owners Association, Gamuna Vijayaratna, said that private buses will not be deployed for operations tomorrow in support of the Hartal campaign. General Secretary of Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Das Wijayasekara, also confirmed that all trade unions affiliated to the party will support the Hartal campaign tomorrow. Trade unions and multi-community-based organizations collective also set to support the Hartal campaign scheduled tomorrow. Now, leaders of the 11-party faction alleged the opposition leader for fulfilling the need of the government. These remarks were shared during a media briefing held in Colombo today. MP Das Wijayasekara said that the nomination of the Deputy Speaker was expected to be proposed by MP Nimal Siripala de Silva and seconded by MP Rajitha Senaratne. He added that there was no change of the nomination even around 10 a.m. However, he said that the SJB parliamentarians then informed that a separate nomination will be proposed for the post of Deputy Speaker. Then he added that the faction informed them that the decision will not be wavered. He pointed out that the nomination was made as an independent group proposal. Therefore, he said that this crisis occurred as a result of the Samagi Janabalawege.
එනිසා අපි කිව්වා අපේ තීරණය අපි වෙනස් කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. ඒක සජබ ඇතුලේ තිබිච්ච ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒක අපේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි. මෙය ස්වාධීන മന്ത്രി කණ්ඩායමේ යෝජනාව. මේ ආණ්ඩු යෝජනාවක් නෙවෙයි. ඒ නිසා ඒ වෙලාවේ ආණ්ඩුව අපේ ප්‍රයෝජනයක් ගත්තා. ඒ නිසා බොහොම පැහැදිලිව මේ අර්බුදය ඇති කළේ අපේ ස්වාධීන മന്ത്രി කණ්ඩායම 40 නෙවෙයි. බොහොම පැහැදිලිව සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ තිබිච්ච අභ්‍යන්තර අර්බුදයක ප්‍රතිඵලයක් තමයි මේ සිද්ධ වුනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ විපක්ෂ නායකයෙක් කියන්නේ
MP Vimal Veeravancha said that the opposition leader should gather all in the opposition and should take decisions accordingly. He said that they would have refrained from nominating a candidate if the Samagi Jana Balawege had informed them that they are nominating their own party member. He said that Hema Premadasa met with Thiru Nadesan over this concern. He added that the aim of this move was to imply that the ruling party supports the candidate from the independent group when they place a candidate for the deputy speaker vote. He said that the opposition leader Sajid Premadasa should gather all together without letting it to be divided. He said that the Samagi Jana Balawege is carrying out a contract for another entity.
මේගොල්ලෝ ආණ්ඩුව එකට ඉන්නේ කියලා පෙන්න ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි ආණ්ඩුවයි එකට ඉන්නේ කියලා පෙන්න ගන්න අහපු මැච් එකෙන් පේනවා සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස ඉන්නේ කාත් එක්කද කියලා. සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස ඇත්ත විපක්ෂ නායකයෙක් නම් විපක්ෂයයි දිනවන්න ඕනේ. විපක්ෂයේ කණ්ඩායම එකමුතු කරලා තියාගන්න ඕනේ. විපක්ෂයේ සමගියයි හදන්න ඕනේ. විපක්ෂයෙන් කෙනෙක් දාද්දි දාන්න කියලා අන්තිම මොහොතේ තමන්ගෙන් කෙනෙක් දැම්මම විපක්ෂයයි බෙදෙන්නේ. විපක්ෂයේ බෙදෙන එකද විපක්ෂ නායකගේ කොන්ත්‍රාත්තුව. විපක්ෂයේ කෑලි වලට කඩන එකද විපක්ෂ නායකගේ කොන්ත්‍රාත්තුව. ඒ කොන්ත්‍රාත්තුව තමයි සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාසට දැන් බාර දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ලැජ්ජයි. ඇයි කුමන්ත්‍රණකාරීව ගෙනාවේ? ගෙනාවේ බෙදන්න. කාටද බෙදන්න ඕනේ? එතකොට සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස ප්ලේ කරන්නේ කාගේ මැච් එකක්ද? මේක තමයි මේ රටේ ජනතාව දැනගන්න ඕනේ. ඔය කවුරු ගෝ හෝම් කියලා සටන් පාඩ ගහන්නත් කලින් පුතානෝ ගෝ හෝම් කියලා ගමක් හදාගන්න වෙනවා මේ රටේ ජනතාවට.
MP Udegaman Pillai said that the independent group sent a letter to the opposition leader today. He added that the no confidence motion tabled by the opposition has indicated that there is no confidence over the government, which they also reiterate. He said that if they are to topple the government, then the alternative program to form the government should be relayed to the people. He said that after toppling the government, there should be a mechanism to continue the efforts which are already in place to procure essential commodities as well as the negotiations over the debt restructuring. He alleged that the Samagi Janabalawege has no mechanism as such over the rebuilding of the country. Now, an Indian vessel with approximately 40,000 metric tons of petrol has arrived at the Colombo port today.
Meanwhile, steps have been taken to impose a certain limit on the issuance of fuel for vehicles. The relevant measures has been enforced from today. Another stock of fuel from India is expected to arrive in the country in near future. So far, India has provided 440,000 metric tons of fuel to Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has indicated the steps have been taken to impose a limit on fuel issuance. Accordingly, a maximum limit of 2,000 rupees for motorcycles and maximum of 3,000 rupees for three-wheelers will be enforced from today. A decision has been reached to issue fuel for cars, vans, jeeps and a maximum of 8,000 rupees. This limit will not be enforced on public transport services and commercial vehicles. In the meantime, a power interruption of 3 hours and 20 minutes will be in place for zones from A to L and P to W from tomorrow until the 8th. Now, Venerable Samantha Bhadra Thera called on Chief Prelate of Malwatha Chapter, Most Venerable Tibbotuwave Sri Sumangala Thera.
Now, subsequently, the Thera presented a proposal to the Chief Prelate. Venerable Samantha Bhadra Thera presented the relevant proposal to the Chief Prelate during his visit to the Malwatha Mahavihare. This proposal consists of 3 factors. The Thera made remarks to media following the presentation of the proposal. Venerable Samantha Bhadra Thera said that they had to wait for many years for the country's politicians to initiate a successful mechanism for the benefit of the country, though such a methodology never materialized. Accordingly, he said that a positive mechanism was proposed during this meeting, which comprises of all religious leaders of the country. He also said that a request has been made to those who are abroad to send all essential medicinal drugs to the country at this crisis situation. He further requested Sri Lankans abroad to extend their support in raising this fund up to $1 billion US. Now, the police have taken measures to close the roads and byroads leading to the parliament in relation to the parliamentary sessions taking place today and tomorrow. Now, Police Media Division has said that these measures were taken to avoid any obstructions for the parliamentarians and parliament staff to travel and to maintain parliamentary affairs due to the ongoing public protests in the surrounding areas.
Accordingly, surrounding roads including from Dietha Junction to Jayantipura Junction and Jayantipura Junction to Kingham Junction will remain closed. Also, all by-roads leading to Parliament Road will also be closed during these 2 days. Meanwhile, residents living within the relevant limits will be able to utilize the roads, verifying their identity. The police regret the inconvenience caused to the public in this regard and request to use appropriate alternative roads. Now, a tense situation occurred in front of the main office of the Immigration and Immigration Department this morning.
Now, this tense situation had occurred after the main office and the regional offices of the department refrained from accepting passport applications today. The department suspended accepting one-day and normal service passport applications and other services until 12:30 p.m. due to an urgent computer system maintenance. Many who had arrived to obtain services faced severe inconveniences following the suspension of the services. The people who had arrived at the main office acted in a tense manner and demanded to issue the passports after completing the maintenance work. The Immigration and Immigration Department said that only the airport operations were carried out in a normalized manner. Now, in more stories, State Minister for Cooperative Services, Business Development and Consumer Protection, Gunapala Ratnasekara, says a maximum price rate will be imposed for essential commodities.
The State Minister further says that future measures will be taken to impose a maximum price rate for locally produced commodities. He made these remarks while taking part in a media briefing held at the Government Information Department yesterday. State Minister Gunapala Ratnasekara requested the business community to adhere to the maximum price rate. He further requested the business community to provide essential commodities at even lesser rates. He said that the Consumer Affairs Authority chairman has been requested to impose a maximum price rate for locally produced commodities as well. He added that maximum effort will be taken to distribute the majority of the essential commodities through Satasa outlets at concessionary rates.
විශ්වාසයි මිල ඉහළ යාමේ වේගය පාලනය කරලා මිල ඉහළ යාම යම් තාක් දුරට පාලනය කර ගැනීම අරමුණින් කරපු දෙයක්. ඇතර මම තමයි යෝජනා කළෙත් මේ පාරිභෝගික අධිකාරිය සභාපතිතුමාට අපි අඩු ගානේ දේශීය වශයෙන් නිෂ්පාදනය කරන භාණ්ඩවලටවත් පාලන මිලක් දාන්න ඕන. සතුසට අත්‍යවශ්‍යම භාණ්ඩ ප්‍රමාණය සියලු භාණ්ඩ බැරි වෙයි. සුපිරි වෙළඳ සැලක වගේ සියලු භාණ්ඩ සතුසට දෙන්න රජයට සබ්සිඩයිස් කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා. නමුත් අත්‍යවශ්‍ය භාණ්ඩ ටික හරි අවම මිලට දෙන්න රජය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙයි.
Now, final rites of former State Minister for Information, late A.J. Ranasinghe, were held at the Borella Public Cemetery this evening with the participation of family members. Late former State Minister A.J. Ranasinghe passed away yesterday morning while receiving treatments at his residence for an ailment. He was born on January the 4th, 1927 at the Madampe Jayasundara Valauva in Ratnapura. He received his primary education from Ratnapura Sivali Mahavidyalaya. He assumed the state ministerial post for information from 1989 to 1994 during President Ranasinghe Premadasa's government period and then continued to assume the position as an assistant director to the National Apprenticeship Board. He also rendered his services as the ambassador of Sri Lanka to Canada. He was also the first Director General of the Tower Hall Theatre Foundation. The later former minister was 95 years of age at his demise. Well, that's it for local news. Stay tuned for news overseas.
இதுவே எல்லாத்துக்கும் முடிவா இருக்கட்டும். இனி ஒரு புதிய வாழ்க்கையை ஆரம்பிப்போம்.
இந்த மாதிரி பயலாம வேலை செய்ய காரணம் பூஸ்டர். நீங்களும் பூஸ்டர் தடுப்பூசியை போட்டு உங்களையும் சமூகத்தையும் பாதுகாத்துக்கணும்.
Welcome back. Now, taking a look at your international stories for tonight. Ukraine says Russia is trying to destroy its remaining soldiers holed up in Mariupol's Azovstal steel plant, with Kyiv's last defenders in the battered city saying Moscow's forces have broken into the giant factory.
Russian occupiers are focusing on blocking and trying to destroy Ukrainian units in the Azovstal area. Kyiv's army said in a statement, adding that with the support of aircraft, Russia resumed the offensive in order to take control of the plant. Russian energy giant Gazprom says it will use the onshore capacity of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline for domestic gas needs. In February, Germany halted approvals for the Nord Stream 2 Baltic Sea gas pipeline project, which is designed to double the flow of Russian gas direct to Germany. The French Environment and Energy Minister Barbara Pompili says she is confident European Union member states will reach a consensus on how to end Russian oil imports by the end of this week. France has this week hosted an emergency meeting of EU energy ministers to discuss how to deal with Moscow's decision to halt gas supplies to Bulgaria and Poland for not paying on rubles. Russia's defense ministry says its artillery struck multiple Ukrainian positions and strongholds overnight, killing 600 fighters. The statement also said its missiles destroyed aviation equipment at the Konatovo airfield in Ukraine and a large ammunition depot in the southern city of Mykolaiv. Now, in a race to get on top of surging inflation, central banks in the United States, Britain and Australia all jacked up interest rates this week. Meanwhile, Turkey's official inflation rate has spiraled to nearly 70% in April.
Stubbornly high inflation also prompted Iceland to lift rates by 1 percentage point yesterday, and India delivered an unscheduled rate rise. Some, such as the Bank of England, worry that economies are heading for a recession, but that has not stopped them from signaling more hikes are coming. Turkey's sky-high inflation poses a huge challenge to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, whose unconventionally economic policies are often blamed for the economic turmoil. The consumer price index rose by 69.97% year-on-year in April, compared with 61.14% in March, the National Statistics Agency said today. The collapse of the lira has pushed up the cost of energy imports, and foreign investors are now turning away from the once promising emerging market. Dire economic conditions are threatening many countries in the world. The Bank of Canada kicked off its rate rise cycle in March and raised rates last month by 50 basic points to 1%. Now, Iran is hosting the country's most high-profile robotics event dubbed RoboCup Iran Open. The 16th edition of RoboCup Iran Open brought together 100 teams from across the country to compete in different fields of robotics and artificial intelligence, with a focus on soccer robots. Organizers say RoboCup seeks to promote robotics and artificial intelligence by offering information technology experts a real-time challenge to build the most capable robots. Iran Open RoboCup is part of the international initiative dubbed Robo Soccer World Cup, or shortly RoboCup. The event was first launched in 1997 and was inspired by the victory of a computer chess player against then world chess champion Garry Kasparov. The official goal of the competition, as stated by its organizers, is to hone the capabilities of humanoid robo soccer players so that they will win a soccer game against the winner of the most recent FIFA World Cup in mid-21st century.
Now, on your foreign news, sports news rather, it's going to be the media briefing which was held yesterday and after the appointment of the coaching staff, and this is for the national cricket team of Sri Lanka. Also, we have the update about Chamari Athapaththu scoring her first ever century in Dubai during the championship held there.
New head coach of the Sri Lanka national team, Chris Silverwood, assistant coach Navid Nawaz and manager of the team, Mahinda Halangoda, were present at this occasion. Chamari Athapaththu, representing the Falcons, scored the first century of the Fairbreak International T20 Championship
all we have here on the news for tonight.
Take care and good night.